Good evening, tribe. How you guys doing today? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and let's go ahead and get into this Greenleaf Season 3, Episode 8. Now, let me tell y'all something. Last night's episode was giving us a whole lot, okay? We had a lot going on. We gonna pick up where we left off with last week's episode, where little Miss Zora decided it's her 18th birthday, and she ready for the world, okay? Now, I'm gonna get there. Because I still feel the same way I felt. And that's how Carissa ended her conversation with her daughter. But we're going to get there. So it starts off with little Miss... Look, you forget how big of an estate they live on until scenes like this. Zora ass was struggling getting that damn suitcase down that daggone walkway because she had to meet old boy on the other side of the gate. Because, of course, he can't get inside the gate. And it's not... You know how some people live in a gated community? So they live in a gated estate, right? So... May asked and got her car, and she chasing behind the girl in the car, telling her, come on, get your, and she's still talking to her like, you better get your butt back in this house. And Zora is like, honey, I am deuces. And as they're arguing, she told Zora told the security guard, open up the gate. May said, close the gate. Zora said, you can't hold me here. I am 18. Open up the gate. May said, you better not open up that gate. That poor security guard, he had it. Because then Bishop showed up later on in the episode, and he couldn't get in. That daggone security guard, I know he was like, I'm quitting this shit. Because Bishop started yelling at him, talking about something, excuse me, why is the code changed? He was like, I don't know. I just work here. That's all I do. I stand in this gate. I don't have no control. And so they going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So as they're doing this, here come Carissa and Jacob pulling up because, of course, they were coming to get Zora anyway. Zora like, oh, Lord, here we go with this. So they get out the car and they're like, what's going on? And they're explaining what's going on. And at first, they weren't understanding I'm leaving, right? She said, I'm getting up out of here. Like, I'm about to go. And she would never say where she was going or who she was going with until old boy pulls up. Honey, the minute he pull up, that was World War III. Jacob ready to fight his ass. And the smartest thing that little boy did was turn that damn camera on, because that's the only thing that stopped him from 2 ass whoopings. Because not only was Jacob going to whoop his ass, but Charity rolls up and talking about something. Oh, is that mother? Oh, like if she was going to curse, because Charity ain't going to curse. But if Charity was getting ready to curse, she was like, oh, is that? Oh, and she rolled up like she going to fight him. But he had on his little Facebook Live or IG Live or whatever on, and he's videotaping the whole thing. And that's really, honestly, and for real, that really wasn't going to stop Jacob. But Carissa was like, excuse me, last time they ain't pressed charges, they ain't going to be so nice this time, and it's going to be on camera. Go sit your ass down somewhere. And she tries to talk to Zora. Zora is like, look, I am 18, I'm getting out of here. And old boy is so I get it that you mad at your family, right? But he was so disrespectful to everybody. He disrespected your father. He disrespected your mother. He disrespected your grandmother. Now, I know Lady May is a handful, honey. But when he was like, old lady, what you gonna do about it? Like, are you serious right now? And you were cool with that? Like, you're so mad at your family that you're cool with this man disrespecting your grandmother? Honey, so Zora was like, Carissa said, look, just take my phone. Because remember, Zora don't have no cell phone. She said, take my phone. She said, why, so you can be blowing me up? She said, no, just take my phone. She said, I promise you, I won't call you. But basically, I want you to have a way to contact me if you need me. Because they know where this is going. They know that boy don't mean her no good. Especially since the way he acted in front of them. Like, if you don't even... a lot of times abusers put on the front in front of other people until they get behind closed doors. Until they get comfortable. So that lets you know how comfortable he is. That Zora ain't going nowhere. That he's acting a pure D ass in front of the whole family. And he ain't worried about her going nowhere. So she finally takes Carissa's cell phone. Honey, he takes the phone and throws it out the daggone window. See, again, none of that made you say, I'm 18 and I can be on my own, but I'm going to have to do it another way. Like, none of that made you say nothing different. So, right, I'm trying to look because I don't want to mess up nothing because it's a whole lot in this episode. So all of that's going on, and they finally pull off, and of course, Carissa is just she's just unconsolable, and they get back to the house, and she's going off on Jacob. She got Jacob's phone. Now, mind you, little Miss Tasha been texting Jacob, hey, how you doing? You okay? Please call me. So Jacob, he ain't that dumb, because I saw it when she had Jacob's phone. I said, oh, this about to be trouble. So Jacob tried to get her phone from him, and she was like, are you serious right now? She was like, you worried about, because he said something about, well, let's go get you a phone. You worried about, I'm not going phone shopping if my daughter's out here missing. And I know Jacob was like, well, shit, you can't keep my phone. So they get to arguing or what have you, and she's telling Jacob, she's like, this is what I tried to warn y'all about. I told y'all we were doing too much, and I told you this is what was going to happen, and now my baby is gone. And I feel, obviously I don't have a child, so I can't say I totally understand, but I do understand where Carissa is coming from. Like, you want to do what's best for your child, and everybody sees that brick wall that she about to run into. And they get to arguing, honey, and she says, look, I'm not going, my daughter not going to be like Faith. And of course, that was like a slap in the face to Lady Mae. Lady Mae was like, well, why would you say that? Like, damn. And, but she's angry, she's a mother, she's feeling some kind of way, she's angry, like, where that's coming from. And she's gonna throw daggers, because she's pissed off at Lady Mae. She said, I told you were being too hard on her. And she's pissed off at Jacob, because she never really wanted her to go to Lady Mae's to begin with. But Jacob, in all this mess, Jacob get his phone back. She was even more pissed off at him for it. But she basically told Jacob, you stay the hell out of this. I'm going to go get my daughter. Like, don't you worry about it. I got this. And Lady Mae says, look, I'll go with you. So they go off to go save the world. In the meantime, Grace don't know nothing. Gigi don't know nothing. Well, Grace, Gigi, whatever. She don't know nothing that's going on, because Gigi over getting the murderess, as Lady Mae would call her, out of jail. And Miss Cross is there, and the lawyer and everything. They bailed her out of jail. And you see that they ain't really happy with the lawyer. They take her home. Her children are with CPS, and Cross says, well, look, she said, they won't even let me see my kids. And she said, look, well, I know some people over it, because Gigi's telling her, well, your kids are with CPS. That's going to be a kind of hard thing to do. And she says, well, I know some people at CPS. I might be able to help you out. So, of course, Gigi talking about who you know over there. Miss Cross said, I know people, and left it at that. Miss Cross know anybody, everybody, somewhere, somehow. She is very well placed, honey. And so she tells her, she said, I can't make no promises, but maybe I can make some phone calls. I can let you know. Over to the funeral home, Charity went back over to the funeral home to serve some comfort. I still think Percy has... Now, I looked at some other reviews last week, and a lot of people were saying how they feel like her father made a phone call to Percy and got Percy to do that for her. Well, I do think the father let Percy know what was going on, but I think Percy has some other interest in little Miss Charity. There was a scene where he was watching Charity comfort a widow, and I don't know, it just looked like lust in his eyes to me. Now, I could be wrong, y'all. I could be reading it wrong. Maybe I'm just too cynical, but so like I said, maybe it's just me being a little too distrustful, whatever, but it is helping Charity. It's getting her out the house. It's giving her something to really, I think it's making her happy. It really is. But she rolls up into the funeral home, and she's telling, she walks in there, she's telling Percy, I'm so sorry that I'm running late. It was just a lot going on at the house. So, of course, Bishop is like, well, what's going on at the house? She gonna tell him, don't worry about it, and keep going. He said, excuse me, I'm still the father. What the hell going on over at the house? So then she tells him, and she says it in just the, Zora left, Zora ran away, whatever, however she said it, but she didn't even say it like she really wasn't going to tell him what's going on. See, to me, that would have been, if I'd have ran to him like, Daddy, that boy came and got Zora. Like, I would have, honey, the way they treating Bishop, and I've never been through a divorce, thank God. My parents are still together. I grew up with them in my house, and I'm sure they fought and they argued, and I'm sure their marriage went through some ups and some downs, but they didn't share it with the children. So let me be clear. I've never gone through this. But I don't understand. It just seems like both Gigi doing her own thing. She's so preoccupied with this situation. But I just feel like, because there's another part, we'll get to that, where Bishop and Jacob end up getting into it, and Jacob was really nasty to him and talked to him real crazy. And I'm just like, where's this anger coming from at Bishop? Anyway, so Bishop, now to backtrack a little bit, Bishop and Percy had a little conversation that morning over breakfast, and Bishop was saying how he didn't sleep last night. Percy said, seems to me like a man who's content with his decisions sleeps well. Like, you're not sleeping. That tell me maybe you having some second thoughts. Bishop was like, nah, that ain't what it's about. Like, I'm good. You know. All right. Percy like, yeah. All right, then. So, all right. See, I told y'all a lot happened. A lot happened, y'all. We ain't even, that's 10 minutes in, honey. We ain't even nowhere near. So, what happened next? Okay, so, let me check my notes, because you know. Oh, okay. So, across town, the mothers are out running around town looking for Zora, and they go over to the boy's parents' house. And they had called him. They had called the parents on the phone, and the parents said, you know, we hadn't seen him, but his stuff is gone out of his room, but we haven't seen him. We don't know where he is. But they really don't have any other place to go, so they go to the house, and May and Carissa, they're sitting there talking, and Carissa apologizes because the family's not home. There are no cars in the driveway, so they're just waiting. And, you know, because Carissa was like, well, can we wait for a little while just to see if they come by here? And you know, Lady May was like, we can wait as long as you want. Like, because there's really nothing they can do. They can't, and I'll get there, because that's what the Bishop and Jacob get to arguing about. So we'll get to that. We'll get there. So while this is going on, they on the other side of town. Jacob done went to the church. Now, little Miss Tasha is texting him as he walk in the door. She blowing his damn phone up. And he's telling her, he's like, look, basically, what happened can't happen again. You know. But and she's telling him, you know, that she really likes him. And she has feelings for him. And she's acting like she's acting like she don't understand where he's coming from. My thing is, you know he was married. You knew he was married before you went into that. You knew he was married while he was kissing you. You know he married now. And he has given you absolutely, positively no indication that he going anywhere. Now, he wrong. I'm not making no excuses for him. He wrong. But I'm so sick of women acting offended that they on the outside of a marital situation that you knew you were walking in the door. It'd be different if he lied to you. He met you at the gym and didn't have on a wedding ring. You knew exactly what was going on. And I know you didn't think he was leaving you married. How about that? You still married. Just because you don't know where your husband is right now don't change the fact that you are married. And so Jacob is trying to tell her, he was trying to be nice at first. But then he had to kind of, first of all, he's still pissed off. He pissed off at Carissa. He pissed off at Zora. He pissed off at himself. So let's go there. They get to arguing, and then he gonna put his foot down talking about something. I am your boss. Bitch, don't do that. Don't play that card. Because remember, she the only one that can really help you or hurt you when this whole money situation come out. So she probably not the person you want to piss off. I mean, he don't know that, but just then Bishop walks in while she crying, and Jacob gonna say, oh, she's upset because a friend of hers died. Y'all know Bishop ain't by that shit. Bishop was like, y'all sure I didn't interrupt something? Oh, no, we're fine. We can go over to my office, because this whole time they in Tasha's office. Bishop was like, well, I'm so sorry for your loss. He said, you sure? I ain't interrupt nothing. I'm like, yeah, Bishop, you know what's up. You know what's going on. But right now, so much other shit going on, you can't even focus on that. So they get to Jacob's office, and Bishop is telling Jacob, look, you need to call... And let me say this before I move on. I don't know how much of this is part of the plan. Like, I don't know how much of this is... I do think Tasha is caught up. Don't get me wrong. I believe that's genuine. But I don't know if that was part of the original plan for Tasha to try to seduce Jacob, or if that's just Tasha really developing feelings for him. Like, I really don't know how much of this is... At this point, I don't know what's premeditated anymore. I don't know who Miss Cross know and don't know. Like, I don't know how much of this is a plan. I really don't anymore. So... they go into Jacob's office. And the bishop is like, don't you know that? Don't you have a friend on the city council? Like, call in some favors. Call the police commissioner to do something. Jacob is like, there's nothing we can do. She is 18. She left of her own free will. He was like, even if I call in some favors, they pull him over, then what? They're gonna have to let her go, cause she's not gonna say that he's kidnapping me. Like, he was like that, and so that's when they get into this argument. And he talked to dad. He talked to his father real crazy, like for real, for real. And Bishop told him. Bishop said, "I'm still the father, and when you remember that, you call me." And then he stopped and turned around again, and I thought he was getting ready to tell him something about that he knew what was up with him and Tasha, but he ain't say nothing. But he know. All right. Back with Gigi, Miss Cross, in this murderous situation. The DA done rolled up on Gigi up at the church, and the DA done told her point blank and period, you either get this woman to take this plea deal, or I'm about to take your ass to jail my damn self. There's no statute of limitations on murder, and I have enough evidence, if nothing else, to bring up a reasonable doubt. Because I could bring up the history between you and Mac. I could bring up the fact that you were stalking Mac. I could bring up the fact that you were worried about your daughter. You thought Mac had, like, all that same stuff that I threw out of the window because I really felt like Mac, that it was self-defense. Honey, it could very easily go the other way. So what you need to do, you need to convince your client to go on and take this deal, or we gonna have a problem. The damn Gigi. So Miss Cross came through. And Miss Cross was able to get a visit with old girl and her children. Oh, I'm sorry. They sit with the lawyer first. They sit with the lawyer, and the lawyer tells her to take the deal. And he's a bullshit ass lawyer. He's not a public defender. At least I don't think he's a public defender. But he acting like he's overworked, underpaid, got so many cases that he don't know what to do with. But you could tell that he really has no interest in trying this case. He doesn't believe his client is innocent, and he's trying to get his client to take this plea. And Gigi tells her, like, you don't have to make a decision today. And, for real, we probably just need to get another lawyer. And, of course, he's like, well, look, y'all do what y'all going to do. But this is the best offer you going to get. And you got till tomorrow to make up your mind. But she ends up having a visit with her daughter. With her children. And after she visits with her children, she tells them, I can't take the deal. Like, I can't leave my kids. I can't do it. Because I think the deal was for 20 years. She'd be out in 15. And she was like, my kids will be grown by then. Like, I can't leave my children. While she's visiting with her kids, Gigi going to ask Miss Cross again, so who you know down at CPS? Miss Cross is like, you just ain't going to let that go, huh? She said, well, I think that's a fair question. She said, through the Big Sisters program. She said, oh, you work with them too? She said, I was one. She said, and now I got 4 young women out here in the world, and, from time to time, I call a favor. So that's who she knew down at CPS. At least that's the story she's telling. She said, I can't believe after everything I've done and after all that we've been going through these last couple of weeks that you still don't trust me. She playing, y'all. Miss Cross playing. But, of course, Gigi is like, well, do you blame me? Because I really don't know what the deal is. I give Gigi credit. Gigi's a little upfront. Gigi's like, what do you, what's the deal? I really don't know what the deal is with what's going on. So, oh Lord, what happened next? I'm telling y'all, this was a good episode. There was so much stuff that went on. Oh. So Sophia's at the house doing whatever Sophia doing. She gets a package. Old boy done sent her a little photo book, like a little photo album of their relationship of, pictures of them here and pictures of them there and things that they've gone through in their relationship. And at the end he says, he wrote on there that I miss you. And here I am thinking that it's going, kind of trigger with Sophia. It really took Sophia further in the opposite direction. They were supposed to go to college together. And later on in the episode, Sophia going to tell Grace that she don't want to go to that college because it's a Christian college and she just ain't there no more. Gigi was like, that's fine, but you going to somebody's college. Why? Why do I have to go to school? Zora didn't. That's another Gigi said, you ain't Zora. Y'all know that that's a black mama answer. You ain't Zora. She said, well, so Zora just gets to run away from home and do what she wants to do. She said, look, Zora is 18. She said, well, I'll be 18 in a couple of months. Gigi was like, look, I know what she wanted to say is, little girl, if you don't get out of my face, because Gigi was tired, honey. But she said, look, we'll talk about that. We ain't going down that road. Your ass going somewhere. And basically, old girl told her mama, like, well, look, when I turn 18, I can do what I want to do. You can't tell me what to do. Gigi ain't even had the energy to argue with her. But, see, Gigi ain't honey. Gigi will jack her ass up. Gigi ain't Jacob. So, back to the mamas. They still camped out in front of old boy house, and they actually pull up. He looked like he must have forgot something because he runs in the house real quick. So, Carissa takes this as an opportunity to go talk to her daughter. And again, she tells her the story of when she was born. She said, when you looked up at me with, with all this wonder, telling the story. Zora was like, and what? She said, look, maybe I was a little hard on you. Maybe I pressed you too hard. She said, but I pressed you because that's what because that's what you said to me the day you were born. You told me that you wanted this light. You wanted, how did she put it? That you wanted to be challenged and you wanted, all these wonderful things to happen. She said, so I'm sorry if it feels like I pressured you too much. She said, but you're my daughter and I just wanted to give you every opportunity and give you the world. She said, so I'm begging you. She said, Mom, I just want to be on my own. She said, but you're not ready. She said, you're going to run off. And they kept harping on the boy, but and they were harping on the wrong stuff. They should have stopped harping on that boy. And what they should have been harping on is, you ain't even graduated from high school. Like, at least let us get you to graduation. Like, maybe, I still don't think it would have worked, but maybe. Let us get you to graduation. You don't want to go to college anymore? Why don't you want to go to school? What are you going to do? Where y'all going? And, of course, she wouldn't tell them where they're going. And she was moved, but not moved enough to get out that car. So then Clarissa said what they should have told her ass from the beginning. Clarissa said, well, I tell you what. She said, this is it. She said, this is the last time that the last opportunity that you're going to have. She said, because after this, you're going to have to deal with all of your bad decisions. And that's going to be between you and God. She said, and let me tell you something. God is going to win every time. She said, so you can come with me now and we can work this whole thing out. Or at this point, I'm done. And you're going to have to just deal with what you reap, what you sow. Zora ain't get out that car. I said, And that's what they should have told her ass when she sashayed her ass down that driveway with that damn suitcase. Okay. Because I keep saying it, everybody knows where that road is headed. And I know as a parent, you do everything in your power to save your children. I get that. But at a certain point, when they don't want to save themselves, all you can do is let go and pray on it. That's it. Because like she said, you can't keep her a prisoner. Even if y'all had drugged that child back in that daggone estate, at some point, y'all was going to have to let her out and she was going to just run again. So, this way, hopefully, she won't feel like she absolutely positively is on. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, y'all. So, Lord have mercy. Look, we ain't even done yet. So, back over to Jacob and Tasha. Jacob and Tasha. Tasha packing up, she quitting. She told Jacob that the only reason why she stayed is because she liked him, and she liked him a little bit too much now. And Jacob is trying to convince her to stay. And, now he's like, I apologize, I was just everything with Zora, he said, I really am sorry, but, I don't know, y'all. He need to let her go. He does. He needs to let her go because that ain't going nowhere good at all. But he tried to convince her to stay, and she was just like, nah, this is what's best. And so she's going to leave. But I'm going to tell y'all what's going to happen. I'll tell y'all when we get to the end of this episode, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. So Percy offers Charity a job. Charity is like, you know what, I like coming here, and it's nice to be noticed, and it's nice for people to feel like, for me to feel like I'm doing some good. She was like, but I'm good. I don't really need it. I don't really want the job. But I told y'all, I think Percy want to keep her around for other reasons. Bishop gonna go up to the house, honey, and he can't get in. That poor security guard. So somehow Bishop gets in the house. But security guard must have let him in. I don't know. And he goes to Lady May. And let me tell y'all something about that damn Lady May. I don't remember nothing else about that argument other than the fact that, of course they arguing about Zora. He said, why didn't you call me? He said, maybe if you had dialed me in, I could have prevented this from happening. And of course, there ain't nothing you could have done. Because hell, by the time you would have got there from Percy's house, I don't know where Percy lived, but by the time you would have got there, they'd have been gone. And if they weren't gone, the same thing would have happened to you that happened to the rest of them, because he'd have had your ass on videotape showing up, showing your ass. And then that would have been all over the church TMZ, right? So, but of course, we always feel like we could do something to help. We feel like we could have changed something. But let me tell you what Miss Lady May said. Honey, I was done after this. Lady May said, this is on you. Why couldn't you just stay put until I had the strength to forgive you and take you back? I said, you know what, goddamn Lady May. Basically, what she's saying is, I was just trying to teach your ass a lesson, but you wanted to play games and start serving people with divorce papers and playing chicken and shit. And had you just sat over there and stewed while I stewed, I would have been back. I just needed a couple of weeks to get my shit together. You know I would have forgave you, but now we are here and it is all your fault, y'all. I was done. I was done after that. I said, okay. Okay, Lady Baby. Like I said, I don't even remember the rest of the argument, but that shit right there had me dying. So Bishop is having another conversation with Percy, and Percy said to Bishop, he said, look, when I left my first wife, I cried like a baby. I left my second wife, it ain't bothered me so much. When I left my third wife, I cried harder than when I left my first wife. He said, sometimes we have forethought, sometimes we have hindsight. He said, you are lucky. You've got one of those. And basically what he's telling him is, because Bishop couldn't sleep again. He's still not sleeping. And basically what he's telling him is, okay, you ain't see that shit coming. You hit a brick wall, but you have hindsight. So you know what you did and you can go fix it. Then last but not least, we see Jacob. He going in the house. He trying to apologize to Carissa. He said, you found her? And she said, yeah. He said, what's up? She said, my baby's gone. And she's going through the photo album of pictures, old pictures of Zora and everything. And Jacob leans over to try to comfort her. And she gets up and walks away from him. So here's what I'm telling y'all. She's going to blame Jacob. She's going to become cold and shut down. And Jacob going to turn to Tiffany, and that's going to be a full-blown affair. And like I said, Tasha. And like I said, I ain't figured out whether this situation with Jacob is part of the plan or not. But it will certainly work in Mrs. Cross's favor on how this whole thing breaks itself down, right? Anyway, it was a long review, but I told y'all there was a lot of stuff that went down in that episode, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.